Legendary, well-seasoned punk rockers Snuff are releasing an album on the 22nd of March called Off the Shower Bank, and this album is followed by a tour where they promise to play songs from the album as well as hits from days gone by. There's a plethora of dates there, but most notably to point out is London v Boston Music Rooms on the 18th of May. So who are Snuff? Where do they come from? Well, welcome to another video. You're going to find out now. Picture this, it's 1986. I was, 3, probably a lot bigger than that, but a trio of rebels converged to form the band Snuff. We're talking Duncan Redmonds, it's the heartbeat of the band on drums, Simon Wells on guitar, Andrew Crichton on bass. And the early days of the band were somewhat of a struggle. Gigs were scarce, and hope was kind of lost in that era. And as I'm sure it was a struggle for many bands. And fortunately for them, opportunity knocked in the form of the most legendary, venerable oracle of music that I feel has ever walked the land of Britain, and I speak none other of John Peel, an absolutely amazing, charismatic, knowledgeable and industrious fellow. I remember his appearances on TV and radio shows throughout my childhood. And in any case, after being taken under his wing, with the album release, there was tours and gigs aplenty. We're talking East Berlin, Poland, the USA, and after release, Japan, not once but twice. And the future was great. But in 1991, they kind of sort of put down their weapons. Well, indeed, the musical instruments are indeed weapons at the National Ballroom in Kilburn, and that was their final bow. But that wouldn't be for too long. The itch of the musician is always felt, and in summer 1994, like a phoenix reborn, the trio reunite, but this time joined by Hammond organ player Lee Murphy. There was some discussion over a name change, but it was eventually decided to stick to the roots, and Snuff continued. 1996 saw another release, but Simon Wells departed and basically left the stage to the roadie, who was promoted, and he is turned into the guitarist. So Snuff, a saga of resilience, rebellion, and relentless dedication. Unfortunately, in 1991, Andrew Crichton, the bass player, he passed away, so rest in peace to him. His boots are now filled, so we now talk about some of their releases. Now, fate is a peculiar thing, and I'm not just referencing the band's fortunes and misfortunes here, but fate seems to leave you signposts, and so I'm going to come on to an album I took a look at. It's their most recent punk album. There's been a sort of an acoustic-y version, or acoustic album, which I'll come on to later, but this album was released in April 2022, and it's called Bear With Me. Crepuscolo dorato della bruschetta, borsetta, calzetta, caccetta, trombetta, lambretta, galliola, sido, così magnifico. So, Italian. This band are very humorous in some of their song titles, album titles, but roughly translated into Golden Twilight, bruschetta, which is just an Italian term for, their famous bread and tomato and mozzarella, and then handbag, sock, pousse, trumpet, lambretta, oxide yellow, oh so magnificent. Magnificent. Put the teeth back in. Now, I've been learning Italian, funnily enough, for the last 3 weeks. I'm on a 21-day streak on Duolingo, and I am due to visit the island of Sicily very soon, and for very good reasons. She knows who she is. So it's very interesting that something remotely related to Italy has come up in my inbox at this time. So, maybe it's a sign that I'm on the right direction. But anyway, this album here, so all the tracks are very kind of short. We're talking sort of a couple of minutes. But do not let that belie the strength of the compositions and performances here. There are some really good, really catchy stuff here. I'm not a huge punk fan, but not because I'm not a fan of the music. It's because I've just not been exposed to it. And there's an instrumental in there that's a bit thrashy, which is a bit sort of closer to my street. I really enjoyed that as a way of breaking up for the album. There are some interesting song titles: Fish and Chips, Lemon Curd, all very abstract. But then there's some more, how do you say, more some things with more meaning there, like Hard Times, Looks All Right From Here. In each of these instances, the music is catchy, it is energetic, it is an enjoyable listen, even to an ear that's not really accustomed to punk. But it's the mixture of humour and, I don't know, like life seriousness, for things like Hard Times and Looks All Right From Here and Stolen From View. It's that blend. It's a blend that make them quite meaningful, but also they don't take themselves or the world or what life has thrown on them too seriously. And I think that is emblematic of individuals that have, individually as human beings and collectively as a band, have seen strifes and experiences they've been through, the positives and the negatives, and been able to still remain fused together and be touring and creating. So it's a thoroughly enjoyable listen, and I would recommend it. This is something that I could quite happily be putting on in the background whilst I'm going about my business, and I'm sure live is going to be even more atmosphere and energy. One title that I have to reference, just because it contains one of my favourite composers, is their other most recent release. It's a very different kind of sound. This was released on June the 12th, 2023. And it's like, come and have a go if you think you're Rachmaninoff. Of course, in Britain here we'd say, come and have a go if you're hard enough. But yes, the album album cover is fantastic. It has a lot of Rachmaninoff references, imagery, the pianist, and I like it. It's cute. I like it. That's the first thing I saw when doing my research, and there's a number of their tracks that have been rewritten for acoustic. It's kind of sort of acousticy, kind of like bluesy type, folky type, like shanty-esque kind of vibes, and I found that a really enjoyable listen, and it just goes to show you the aptitude and the versatility of the musicians themselves, because punk is sometimes often given a bit of a bad rap as being a free chord thing. And of course, this is not the case, and it's probably not the case for any genre that gets that kind of rap. So I'll leave you with those two as most recent releases to listen to, and invite you to check out the further back catalogue if you so enjoy them. It's been quite a story. Snuff seems to have lived on despite the meaning and etymology behind its name. So long may they never be snuffed out, and may they ever continue to perform. And again, the May gig in London, if you're around there, go and see them and have a good time.